Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm starting a new project today, and I have been asked to show you how I age paper. I often use printables when I do kind of old looking journals, and when you use printables, the paper are new and it's difficult to get them to look authentically old, and that's my goal when I work with my papers. So of course I will show you again. It was some year ago I did it the last time, so with all new subscribers I think that it can be in place to show you again. I also have developed some more ways to make them look old, so that could be fun. So I'm using ordinary copy paper, the cheap ones that are kind of from dollar store, or I don't want these that are shiny. That's for the one that are for laser printing, because they don't give this old look that you want. So the first thing I do when I take one of my white papers is that I'm wetting them, spraying them. So I'm using a spray bottle like this, and then I put in water and about 10% coffee. That is leftovers from my morning coffee. So then I lay kind of 10-20 papers on the floor on a plastic bag, and I spray them and leave them overnight. And the trick is that you shouldn't kind of let's take this one. You shouldn't put so much coffee into the bottle so the paper gets yellow like this, because that's not authentic. That looks more like a coffee dyed new paper, and that's not what we want. So to get the authentic look with the little yellowing touch that often gets to paper that has been laying around for a while, is to do that just 10% of coffee in the bottle, and then you will get a result like this. And you can see they are yellowish on the edges and a bit kind of marbled, as I just lay them flat down, and they can move around when they get wet. Some of them kind of squeezes together, and then you get this little marbled. They are never kind of colored the same all over, so you get this more natural yellowish tone. I hope you can see it. Do like this maybe, so you can see a bit better. Something like that. So that's the first thing I'm doing, and it's not just the color, it's also the feeling of the paper. When you have wet it one time, you are destroying the paper fibers into the papers, and it kind of gets a texture on the paper that you don't have when it's dry. So this is smooth and really flat, but when you move the hand over this, you can really feel the paper texture on it. So if you don't want your paper to be yellowish, just want them to feel old, you can use just water too. And it also gives your paper more strength. I don't know why, but probably the same with the paper fibers that get broken with the water and need to heal, and that way makes the paper a bit more tactile and nice to touch. So that was the first thing I do. So then I print out my paper, and of course printing on these coffee dyed papers. And when I do the journals, I don't do the papers exactly the same size. I print them out, and then when I cut them, they are different in sizes. Some of them are wider and some of them are... So I just follow the size of the paper. That way when I put it together, it gets more natural, like a more fun journal. Most of these paper are Ruby and Pearl Exo papers, but I have a few others too, so I just use whatever paper I find beautiful. And some of them I double print, so I have print on both sides when I make the journal, and some of them I leave so that I can fold them and maybe use them as a writing space in the journal. So let's take this one, and I can show you how I do to make it look a bit like it's old. I follow the pattern of the paper, even if they have made it look like it's torn. So let's take this blue one so you can see. So I have cut it roughly and follow the edges that was on the print. But you can see that I have used the scissors, and that's not so fun. So if you have a distress tool, you can use that, or you can use your scissors. So I'm starting by kind of destroying the edge a little bit, so it looks more like it's ripped and torn, more than cut with the scissors. And the same with this one. Don't overdo it, because old paper that is laying around is never destroyed on every piece of the paper. Some of them are protected, and it doesn't look authentic if you kind of squeeze and smush all the paper, because there are no one that are kind of crinkle it all together and flattening it out. So don't do that for authentic look. So here and there I drag my scissors on the edge, just so it looks like it has been in someone's pocket for a while. And then I also squeeze the edge on a few of the ends. Same there, not all of it. Here and there. And when I have done that, I look if there are any creases that you can see on the paper. And if there is, I'm folding on the exactly same place. And it's more important that you follow the crease than follow the edge, because old letters was often folded, and then when they lay in someone's pocket they were squeezed and kind of like this and like that, so they did not sit by a table and fold it carefully and properly. This one also have a little folding down here. Like so. Also on this side. We have foldings. And instead of using my distress ink right away, I'm going to use some sanding block. And I'm just going to drag carefully on the edges. Same again, not overdo it. See, getting there. This had some damaged parts, so I'm just making some small holes. That. And then I'm going to use a bit of distress ink, but I'm not using this dark vintage photo that I often used earlier. I have the same feeling there that this will kind of overdo it. So instead I'm using antique linen or some other a bit lighter kind of paper. I have a vintage photo on this tab, so I'm going to just check so it's not too dark. And then now my paper isn't totally white as I have coffee dyed it earlier, but I'm still going to just give it a little bit on a few places with. And same again, it's never yellow all over the paper. So choose a few places where you think it would be nice with some ink. And the same on the places where I drag with my scissors, where I often get white paper peeking out. As those part is not coffee dyed. So I'm making sure that it isn't totally white on some places. Something like that. Now you have a paper that is more authentically old. Something like that. Should we do one more? Let's see if we have maybe a this was a double one, but let's go for that. So we need to cut so the both sides are free from the white if you print it that way. Some print it so it covers all the pages, but I can't do that on my printer, so I need to cut. So on this side we have a big white edge that we need to take off. And going around. And it's more important that you get rid of all the white than to save the picture on the other side. As this will be a folded kind of journal like this, you won't think about that anyway, so make sure that all the white pieces are cut off on both sides. And then check if you see any white somewhere. That. So then I'm often just take my scissors, and when I cut, I kind of do like this and do some damaging with my scissors. And they look more authentic if you just rip them or kind of damage them instead of cutting out these pieces that are made to look old. And again, not all over the paper, here and there. And then I'm going back with my ink on the places where I have been using my scissors, because there will be white. You can leave these pieces and you don't need to take them off. So again, look where you would like to have your distress piece. So thinking maybe one of the corners. And where this little piece where it has been damaged are. And maybe a little corner has been folded. And making sure that we have no white pieces peeking through. And then if you want to, you can, one easy thing to do is to just spritz some water on it. And that will be kind of different when it dries. Be careful if you have a ink printer, because often when you put water on that, it will change color and maybe bleed. So if you're going to use water after you have printed, it's better if you can use a laser printer. So should we make an envelope too? I think I have one. There we go. And this is printed on a totally white paper. As I'm going to use it as a pocket, I don't need to use the coffee dyed papers. So again, I'm going around. And then I'm checking where there have been some creases and making some so it looks authentic. And again, you can use a sanding block to give it that little extra and then go in and darken it. So it's still got kind of the same color, but you can feel the crease, and it looks more like it was this from the beginning, not a print. And then again, on the straightest parts, you can do a little bit more of the distressing. And then make sure that it's not white. I often do like this. I take the back side and color it, so even if it gets a little bit of an angle, I'm not risking that anything white is peeking out. And then I showed a little trick with tape yesterday, so I can do that again in case someone has not seen that. An easy way to do antique tape is to use ordinary tape. Then you can take your distress ink, and now I'm going on to vintage photo. And I'm putting the distress on the edge with the glue, so it sticks. Then I'm taking glue onto my frame. I'm taking glue on the side where we have the distress ink, and then I'm just dragging the glue on top of it. That makes it look wet, and then I'm just putting it where I would like to have it mended, like that, and that makes it look like we have really old tape onto the picture. So easy, you don't need to do alcohol ink or something like that. Just use your distress ink, or even watercolor can work, but you might need to let it dry then, and then glue it down. So let's go with the envelope too. If you are going to do the envelope as a floating pocket, so you need to have a front and a back, then leave a little bit on both sides of your envelope so you can put it together. So I'm just doing like this so I can glue it together. and then cut it off. Then I'm doing the same on this one, on the button. So we have on the sides on this one, and I save the piece down here on the other one. So then we will try to put this together. So I fold it, making sure that I don't have any gray that peeks out. So when I put this together, we don't see any of the gray on the sides. Doing it just like this first, so I can see where we are going. So let's glue, and then I'm gluing on this little flap that I left, and the same on these ones. So we still get an envelope that we can have something on the inside. I'm making sure that it's glued all the way to the edge. And then I'm going to cut this so it's straight at the moment. And then before we start distressing it, I'm going to glue this together. Because I want to rip it, and it looks more authentically if we glue it together first and then cut it open again. So I'm going to leave that for a little while, so then we will cut it off with a knife. So then again, I'm taking my scissors and I'm going to go and distress. Then maybe someone have had it in their pocket and fold it. So then I'm taking my knife and we are going to see if we can cut this up and maybe destroy it a bit. Hopefully. See what I mean? Now we have kind of a more authentic opening on this letter. And giving it a bit more of the distressing. If you would like to, you can put another paper on the inside too. Maybe some thin parchment paper or something like that. They often had thin pattern paper on the inside of old letters. And now I'm crumbling it a bit on a few spots. And now I even can put on a real stamp on it. See if I can get this off. This is an old Swedish stamp with Selma Lagerlöf on. She was a famous author. Then I think we need to mend it a bit. Then you have a beautiful pocket that is floating, so you can put that in your journals. Let's see if this fits inside. Was folded like that, so then we can fold it again. Like that. If you would like to, you can put a real wax stamp on it too. I totally forgot the word. Wax seal. I think it's time to go to bed now. And you can of course decorate it with some little lace piece or something like that. So I hope you find this useful when we have made some old papers. So go and play with your papers, and the most important thing, don't overdo it. I'm pretty sure that you know what I mean when I say that we don't squeeze it like a ball and put it in our pockets. So if we do that, we will overdo the antiquing too. So if you're interested in seeing more, I will do some more recordings while I'm doing this old looking kind of Angie inspired journal. And the other one I'm working on too is a new garden journal, so I can write down everything that is happening in my garden during the spring. So those two are my upcoming projects, and I will for sure do some recording. And then we can just wait for spring. For the next exciting thing I'm going to do this spring is to make my own colors. I'm going to make watercolors and also some colors to use in the journals, of course, for painting. So we are going to use things from nature and do our own pigments and paint with them, of course. So I hope you will stay tuned and follow me. And I'm very grateful for every thumbs up and every follower. And your comments are always appreciated. So much. So thank you so much for keeping me company. And I will see you soon again. Bye bye from Sweden.